In this segment, I'm going to cover the Napa Technology WineStation portal for Premier Plus customers. When we look at the home page, we see a number of items along the top bar. Wine setup, staff setup, sales reports, wine reports, customer reports, staff reports, and WineStation. Let's start with WineStation. In this area, we have a number of areas that we can select depending on what it is we need to do. If we go to Control, the window comes up that allows us to open and close the wine bar, start and stop the happy hour, and stop and start the service, the SDS service or the WineStation service. If we go to the next tab, which is Schedule, we notice we have a page that, if we hit the Edit button, allows us to schedule the happy hour and the times for that, the message that we want shown on the screens, as well as being able to schedule the open-close of wine bar hours. If we go to the next button, we see Features. Features allows us to change the scale for temperature, gets us to select the language. Today we only offer English in the US. The currency format, the currency symbol, which can be euros, pounds, yens, points, PR, P or R, and also enable or disable pour limits, how many pours per card, and a number of other features for the smart card. Location tab basically allows us to create new locations where we might have wine stations in different areas, both of the single store or multiple stores. It has a configuration page which allows us to identify which wine stations are associated with which locations. It also provides us information about the computer, about the network, and about the various revisions and versions for the software. Overrides provides the manager or the owner of the store the ability to make changes without having to go in and make modifications to specific areas. All of these items that I am describing are covered in other videos in more detail. Staff reports provides a place where information about what's going on in the wine station that relates to the staff members or the managers. One of the tabs is called Sales Detail, and here we can see a number of wines that have been consumed and the quantities for each type of measure. We also can get a report of the cards that have been created, the dates, and some of the details around that. The staff activity report provides more detail about certain operations that the staff is performing, such as refilling bottles. And also, there's a report related to tab cards. Who's creating tab cards, the kind of tab cards that are being created, and what the amounts are for those cards. There are customer reports, and customer reports provides also sales details for customers and a variety of different types of customer cards. Card balances. In this page, you can actually see the different kinds of cards that have been created and how much those cards have been used. You can have a report by card number. Every card, when it's produced through AccuServe, gets a number. So even if you don't have a name associated with it, if you know the number of the card, you can type it in and you can get information about what's happening with that particular card. You can get reports by name. So the cards that have been assigned names for either a standard card or a premier card will show up in this report, and you can then see the details of consumption for each particular named customer. There's also a customer list. This provides a list of every customer, standard or premier customer, that information has been collected for. So this can be used for marketing purposes. There's a tab that deals with wine reports. Here we have a report that basically shows every wine that has been entered into the system or into the wine database and the various elements of that, and including the pricing, including the volumes, and so forth. There's a second tab called Wine Balance. The Wine Balance report provides a view of what's going on in the wine stations right now. Each module is called out, the dates, and the various types of information about the wines, as well as how much wine is left in each bottle. Sales reports allows you to look at the sale of the wines in a variety of different views. You can look at wine brands. You can look at varietals. You can look at by employee. You can also look at card types. Customers, specific customers by name. Locations, if you had more than one, you'd see more than one. By system, and other items. The Staff Setup tab is basically where you would look at all of your staff members. You would set the status of the staff member if you wanted to inactivate someone, or if you wanted to add a staff member to your to the staff. And then Wine Setup provides a way to manage the wine list. Here we can enter UPC codes for the wines. It also gives us a list of all the wines that currently are within the system, and I can select that and see if the information is correct or whether pricing has changed, and I can go in and make those changes. I can assign wine to a position by bringing up the Assign Wine tab, and here I can select by system, by module, by position, which wines I'd like to put into each of these positions. So by simply clicking on a position and then selecting the wine, I can change the wine in those positions. And lastly, we have a Set New Wine Defaults tab where for every wine bottle that's put into the system, this information will be put in for each of those wine bottles. So with that, that gives you an overall view. You'll also be able to have videos that give you more detail on each of these items.